Edward Snowden has been pretty vocal about his interest in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general for quite some time now. Being the influential figure that he is, Snowden's recent remarks about President Biden's new stimulus plan are sure to cause a stir in the market. We'll just have to wait and see what direction. As always, this is not financial advice. We are not responsible for any losses or profits you may make after watching this. In May of 2021, President Joe Biden proposed a $6 trillion budget that would raise taxes on wealthy Americans and corporations in an effort to fund a broad economic agenda that includes huge new investments in transport infrastructure, education, and fighting the global enemy that is climate change. The thing is, if the proposal passes, it would raise domestic expenditure through the roof. This ambitious and long-term economic agenda would take the United States to its highest levels of federal expenditure since World War II. As you would expect, this bill has already gained a considerable amount of criticism, especially from the Republican Congress members. But one person with an interesting view on this new stimulus proposal is the infamous computer intelligence expert, Edward Snowden. Following the Biden administration's new stimulus plan announcement, Snowden tweeted, $6 trillion? This is good for Bitcoin. Granted, Edward Snowden doesn't live anywhere near the United States, but his insider knowledge of the crazy world of politics and finance is invaluable and probably worth listening to. Snowden's tweet isn't written in some sort of cryptic code. It's as plain and simple as it sounds. More money being pumped into the United States' economic system will surely drive Bitcoin's price up. The Biden administration means to benefit the United States by implementing this new stimulus bill, but it may actually end up ruining the U.S. economy. As the U.S. economy gets worse, Bitcoin will only get better. Why? Because the higher the inflation rate, the higher the price of Bitcoin goes. Snowden's remarks couldn't have come at a better time for the bullish Bitcoin investors and enthusiasts who were literally clinging to straws as the cryptocurrency market took a tumble a few weeks ago. The market has somewhat stabilized since then, but Bitcoin's price today is still a far cry from its all-time high of $64,853 on April 14th. It is worth noting that this budget is still in its proposal stage and hasn't been passed by Congress, so don't jump into conclusions yet. But all the criticism it is already getting from Republican politicians could actually kill it before it materializes. South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, the lead Republican of the Senate Budget Committee, declared Biden's budget dead on arrival, just like all the other presidential budgets. He wasn't done yet, though. The outspoken Republican senator went into greater detail and said, "It is insanely expensive. It dramatically increases non-defense spending and taxes. There will be serious discussions about government funding, but the Biden budget isn't serious, and it won't be a part of those discussions." Like most political statements, it got a bit childish and aggressive at the end there, but you get the idea, right? Conservative Republicans and Democrats alike cringe at the thought of higher taxes and increased government spending. But the thing is, Biden has some of the best odds of any president in recent history of getting his agenda, or at least part of it, approved. This is because for the first time in a long time, Democrats control both the House and Senate. Biden's chances of success are still higher than most people would think, particularly if he can reach an agreement with members of Congress on parts of his infrastructure agenda. This isn't the first time that Edward Snowden has spoken about crypto, and if Biden's budget plan passes and Bitcoin's price goes up, it also won't be the first time that he's been right about a debate around crypto. After the carnage that ensued on the cryptocurrency market on March 12, 2020, commonly referred to as Black Thursday, Snowden said, "This is the first time in a while I've felt like buying Bitcoin." That drop was too much panic and too little reason. This bullish statement came in the wake of mass selling and people clearing their cryptocurrency portfolios purely out of FUD. Most people thought that it was the end of the crypto market as we knew it, but to critics' disbelief and hodlers' joy, everything stabilized soon enough and Bitcoin continued its insane rise to the top of Crypto Mountain. In retrospect, and to Snowden's credit, the whole thing seemed like market manipulation by whales who wanted to buy back in at a much lower price. So if you held on to your Bitcoin or bought up more in March 2020 like Edward Snowden, you probably have the widest smile in the world right now. In 2019, Snowden's proceeds for his book Permanent Record were confiscated by the United States Department of Justice. The DOJ announced a lawsuit against Snowden after, quote, failing to turn in his new book to U.S. agencies for pre-publication review. In response to this, Snowden tweeted, "In conclusion, this is good for Bitcoin." The United States government was entitled to more than $5.2 million in royalties from Edward Snowden, and all that the former National Security Agency contractor had in response was a Bitcoin appreciation tweet. If you hadn't noticed, Edward Snowden is just as bullish on cryptocurrency and its future as heavy hitters in the crypto world such as the Winklevoss twins, Michael Saylor, and Elon Musk. The future is generally shrouded by mystery and doubt, and the future of cryptocurrency is even more enigmatic and mysterious. It takes real diamond hands to hold on to Bitcoin for long periods of time, regardless of FUD or market dips, and Snowden certainly has a pair of them. As highly as Snowden has spoken about Bitcoin, there are some Bitcoin stans who still cling on to Snowden's criticisms of the premier digital currency. The hardcore Bitcoin crowd can be intense and very unforgiving, and Snowden knows this for a fact. The Bitcoin maximalists' latest attack on Snowden came after he took to Twitter and knocked the Human Rights Foundation's chief strategy officer, Alex Gladstein's recent statements on crypto. Gladstein had made some negative remarks about Snowden's appearance on the Decrypt YouTube channel, where the NSA whistleblower highlighted Bitcoin's glaring flaws when it comes to privacy and data security. In response to Alex Gladstein's Twitter statements, Snowden had this to say: "The worst part of cryptocurrency transforming into dragon-level wealth is witnessing good people emotionally devolve into dragons themselves. So intellectually paralyzed by the fear that everyone they see threatens their horde that they lose sight of the world beyond their cave." If you're having a hard time trying to understand that statement, replace the word dragon with whale and it'll all start to make sense. So what would happen if the stimulus check passes? Thanks to Edward Snowden, we already know that the economy will most likely take a pretty hard hit and that Bitcoin and crypto in general will do well. We'll be focusing more on the stimulus's effect on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies than its impact on the US economy. After Bitcoin's most recent price crash in April 2021, the cryptocurrency leader has been slowly recovering, and it's slowly but surely headed back to $40,000. The thing right now is, every time it gets anywhere near the $40,000 mark, bears take control and the price falls drastically. At the moment, Bitcoin is unable to avoid these losses, but if the new stimulus check passes at a time when Bitcoin's price is at $40,000, it may be good enough to break through the strong resistance at that range. If that happens, Bitcoin could be on the fast track towards $50,000, where it could also face a fair bit of resistance. Historically, whenever the US government has printed more money, Bitcoin has seen huge price surges. Something to consider is the fact that all those times the stimulus checks were below $3 trillion. So if this proposed budget passes and another $6 trillion is printed, it's kind of hard to see things going differently. Here's a fun fact for you. Did you know that nearly $1 in $5 that is in circulation was created in 2020? Following the spread of the coronavirus pandemic, the Federal Reserve, or the Fed, printed unprecedented amounts of money to support the struggling economy. This injection of cash into the economy sparked debates about inflation and helped crypto asset prices soar through the roof. Could we be going through something similar this year? If you asked Edward Snowden, he'd probably say yes. And he'd have every right to. After all, as volatile as the crypto market can be, it has shown its fair share of trends and patterns. If Bitcoin and the other cryptocurrencies' price go up after Biden's proposed budget passes, it wouldn't be the first time that the market has risen following government legislation. It also wouldn't be the first time that we get solid crypto advice from an infamous former CIA contractor. When famous and influential people like Edward Snowden and Tesla CEO Elon Musk talk about crypto, the market literally moves in real time as it reacts to whatever these crypto lords say or do. Sometimes it can be something as simple as a late-night tweet to an interview on national television. Elon Musk is lucky, or unlucky enough to have been on both ends of that exclusive spectrum. Edward Snowden is just lucky to be alive, really. So as you would imagine, frequent tweets and public appearances are definitely not his thing. This means that whenever he mentions or talks about crypto, people listen. You can call it rarity bias or say that people are only interested in him because of his crazy life story, but one thing is for certain, Snowden knows his crypto. As we mentioned earlier, he occasionally takes jabs at Bitcoin, but he also uses it quite often and once called the technology the first free money system in the world. Well, at the time of writing, the world's first free money system is trading at $39,004 according to CoinGecko. Assuming Snowden is right about the Biden administration's new stimulus bill, Bitcoin could be well on its way to the $40,000 range. What do you think about President Biden's new $6 trillion stimulus package? Do you think that Edward Snowden is right about Bitcoin's price going up as the economy fails? Let us know all this and more down in the comments below. Like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so we can keep you up to date with the latest news and developments in the fascinating world of crypto. Until next time, stay ballin'.